Richard Hardon. Hurting, howling, and healing. Hurting, howling, and healing. Richard Hardon.
Wait, you hadn't heard the story? About the hound dog whose cries disturbed a traveler, and he stopped to ask the old man rocking in the chair on the porch about the dog. What's wrong with your dog? There ain't nothing wrong with that dog. There is something wrong with that dog. Ain't nothing wrong with that dog. He's laying on the nail. Well, why don't he just move? Contest master, Toastmasters, and anyone that's ever asked, if it hurts this much, why can't I move? I'm going to share with you just a part of my journey from pain to power. Now, David, I'm not an expert in any way. Point of fact, oftentimes I didn't display the good sense God gave that dog. How many of you have ever been in pain but unable to move? Oh, I'm glad it's not just me. My therapist says I should talk with like-minded people about these things. My life was probably a lot like some of yours, where everything looked good on the outside, but inside I was hurting. We had problems with communications, challenges with parents, and worries about the workplace. But I tried to ignore the pain, just pretend like I couldn't feel it, because I am Superman. But you know that pain ignored intensifies, and it turned all the way up in my life October 17, 2016. Started with a simple phone call from my neighbor, Dr. Bob. Richard, your dogs are loose. They're out running amok in the neighborhood. They're digging up the flower beds and chasing old people, and they almost get the mailman. Who let the dogs out? Darted over to handle the dogs, and the phone rang again. It was my manager, Jeremy, from work. Now understand, I had the hashtag dream job, but this was a nightmare phone call. Unexpectedly, when the call terminated, my job did too. Got fired by phone. And it had the nerve to ring again. No, I didn't want to answer it. I wanted to throw it. But it was a high school calling about my son. My savagely independent and impulsive son. I swerved over to the school and got there just in time. No! My boy, cuffed, stuffed in the back of the police car, hauled off to jail. In that moment, in that pain, as a parent, a professional, or even as a pet owner, I finally had the good sense God gave the dog. And acknowledge this was more than I could handle with my own power. As I cried out, I acknowledged there's greater power than mine. And I listened to the voice of that power, and it directed me in how I should move. I found calm, cry out, acknowledge, listen, Darted out, find the dogs, only to find that the dogs were doggedly searching for me. What I was looking for was looking for me, and what you're looking for is looking for you. Gave me room to explore my new employment situation. Now that loss of job and income was a lot like a loss of oxygen. How many of you ever lost a job? Son? No, don't raise your hands. Raise your eyebrows and nod intently if you think that hurt. But I listened, I heard the voice, I found my calm after crying out, acknowledged. It said that your power comes from your passion. It's more powerful than your paycheck, more secure than your salary. Do what you're doing now. Teach, lead, build. You can get fired from a job, but you can never get fired from your passion. Opportunities started to flow into and out of my life in such an amazing way because I cried out, I acknowledged, I listened, and I moved. When it came to our son, all night we worked and worried on his release. And when finally he came to us, I did not know what to do or say. I embraced him. Oh, I love you. I cried. He cried. We cried. And I acknowledged that the hardest part of being a parent, being willing to let go as they crawl. That he's going to have his own choices, mistakes, and consequences. But on the bright side, he made the choice to trade those handcuffs for his cap and gown. 2 weeks from now, he graduates off to college. Then he's going to take over the world. Now, you may not have the pains that I have, but we all have pain. And we always will. If you can remember, calm, cry out, acknowledge, listen,